By the end of this video, we're going to have our NPCs running around our game all on their own, with customizable different wait times and movement speeds, and looping movement between waypoints which we can set up. When we talk to our NPCs, they'll stand still so we can have a chat until we're done speaking with them, and they'll continue moving. In the next video, we'll get them animated, don't worry, but we're going to do it in a cool and fancy way, which I'll talk about later. But cool, let's check it out. Let's start with our girl NPC. We'll set up some waypoints so we can control where she moves. If we right click in the hierarchy and create an empty game object, I'm going to call this waypoint parent, which we'll use to store all the waypoints inside of it. So we'll right click again, create empty, and I'll call this waypoint. In the inspector, there's this gray cube that if you select it, you can select an icon so it appears in your scene. This won't appear in your game view, but it's just a nice way to visualize where your waypoints are. So you can move this waypoint around using the move tool and clicking this blue square. So you can position this where you want your NPC to walk to, and then click on this waypoint and hold down Ctrl D to duplicate this and move the other waypoint to the other position that you want your NPC to walk between. Now we can make as many as we want, so we could have them running around this pillar in a square by creating 4 of these waypoints, like so. Now on our NPC girl object, I'm going to select this and add a new component of a new script, which I'll call WaypointMover, as in we're going to move between these waypoints. You'll be able to add this to any object in your game, so you could use this in future for enemies walking around, or even animating inanimate objects, whatever you want to be able to move in your game. We can double click on this to open it up, and at the top of our script we're going to want some public variables, so let's go public, transform, waypoint parent, which we'll drag in to then grab all the waypoints that are children of this parent, so we don't have to drag in each waypoint individually. A public float for move speed, which I'll set to a default of 2F, so that's how fast our NPC will walk. A public float for wait time, so once they've reached a waypoint, how long do they stand still for? I'll set this again to 2F. And a public bool for loop waypoints, which I'll set to default to true, just in case you want a character to walk to a waypoint and then stay there, but most of the time we'll probably want this looping. Now we'll want some private variables, so private transform array, so square brackets, for our waypoints, a private int for our current waypoint index, and a private bool for is waiting. So in our start for our waypoints array, we can go waypoints equals new transform square brackets to make it an array, and pass in waypoint parent dot child count, so that our array size is the same as how many waypoints we have. And then we can say for int I equals 0, semicolon I is less than waypoint parent dot child count, semicolon I plus plus. And within here we can say waypoints square brackets I equals waypoint parent dot child, so this will grab all the transforms of the waypoints inside our waypoint parent. Now inside our update, we're going to want to say if our pause controller dot is game paused, or our NPC is waiting, then we're going to want to return, as we don't want to make our NPC move if our game is paused or if they're currently waiting, so they just want to be standing still. So if we don't return out of here, we're going to want to move to our waypoint. So let's write a new function by going void move to waypoint, and in here we'll store a new transform for our target, so the place we want to move to, and we'll set this to equal our waypoints and pass in our current waypoint index. So this gets the waypoint we want to walk to. Now to move towards this, we simply have to go transform dot position equals vector2 dot move towards, and pass in our current position, so transform dot position, our target position, so target dot position. And then this max distance delta it's asking us to pass in is basically going to be how fast you want to move towards it. So we're going to go move speed times time dot delta time. Cool, and now we need to check if we're close to our waypoint. So we'll go if vector2 dot distance and pass in our transform dot position, and our target dot position is less than 0.1f, so we're close enough. Then we're going to want to start waiting at the waypoint before we start moving again. As this elapses over time, we're going to want a coroutine. So let's go I enumerator wait at waypoint, and we'll set is waiting to equal true. We'll yield return new wait for seconds and pass in our wait time. So how long are we going to wait at our waypoint before we get moving again? And once we've done waiting, we're going to go current waypoint index equals loop waypoints. So we're going to check if we do want to loop through our waypoints, and to check this we go question mark. So if this is true, we're going to go brackets current waypoint index +1, and then type a percentage sign and write waypoints.length. If you've never seen this before, this is going to be very confusing, but basically we're incrementing our current waypoint index by 1, that's the easy bit. The percentage sign here applies the modulus operator. The purpose of the modulus operator is to ensure that once the current waypoint index reaches the last waypoint, so the waypoint's length -1, it will wrap around to the first waypoint, so the index being 0. Basically, it loops this round for us, and then we'll go colon to say else if we're not looping our waypoints. We'll go mathf.min and pass in current waypoint index +1, comma, waypoints.length -1. So as you can see, this mathf.min is going to return the smallest of these two values we've passed in, increments our current index by 1, but ensures it doesn't exceed the last waypoint index. I'll add some comments in just so it's a bit clearer. And finally, as we're finished waiting, we can set is waiting to equal false. So cool, we've got our wait at waypoint function. We can now call this up by going start coroutine, and I'll move to waypoint, pass in wait at waypoint, and semicolon it off. Now our move to waypoint is complete. We can copy this, stick it up in our update, and guess what? We're all done. Let's go back to Unity, and if we click on our NPC girl, we can see our WaypointMover script. We need our waypoint parent passed in, so we'll drag that on in. I'm going to set the wait time to something a bit lower, like 1, so she can move around a bit faster here. And to tidy up the hierarchy, just before we test this out, I'm going to create a new empty object. I'm going to call this NPC girl again, same as our other object, and drag in both our main NPC object and our waypoint parent, just so this tidies up our NPC objects. So cool, let's press play and test this out. As you can see, she's not animating, but we can see her moving around her waypoints. Very cool. She's looping and continuing round and round and waiting for a second at each stop. I'm going to up our movement speed a bit more and set the wait time to be something even lower. And then also I'm going to get our old man moving just for fun to show how easy this is. Let's drag on our WaypointMover script, and we're going to need to create some waypoint parents for him as well. So I'll create a new empty object for him, NPC old man. Inside this, we'll add our waypoint parent and add a waypoint. I'll add an icon for him, and we can do a different color so we can see it clearer. And we'll get him walking between 2 points over here. Cool, let's drag his NPC object in as well, and then drag this waypoint parent onto his waypoint parent slot. Again, his move speed being quite slow and his wait time can stay at 2 there. Now when we press play, there's going to be a lot going on. We can see our girls running very fast around. Maybe that's too fast. And our old man is very gently walking side to side. Oh, and also if we talk to our NPCs, the NPCs movement is paused, so they don't keep running around in the background. And then when we press play, they'll keep moving. Very cool. Obviously this looks a bit weird because they're not animated, but don't worry, sneak peek, this is my test project, but I'm going to show you something cool by setting up Sprite libraries and Sprite resolvers, which when used will only need 1 animator setup and 1 set of animations that'll be used for all our different NPCs. It's very cool and very exciting, so subscribe so you don't miss out. I didn't want to overload you with too much information, so I split them into 2 videos. As always, you can grab all my scripts on my Patreon for just $7 a month. That's everything I've ever made, getting close to 100 videos now, very exciting. Or you can grab this whole template for yourself, including all finished features and also future features for free. I keep coming up with more and more ideas, so you're going to be getting more and more updates to this. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!